Welcome, pilots! This video is part of my guide detailing every high-security combat site. In most of these videos, you'll see me flying an assault frigate called the Ishgur. This is mainly because it's my favorite ship to fly, and certainly not due to its performance in this site, or its escalation, Kidnapped. Combat signatures appear in your probe scanner window, and you must scan them down with probes before you can warp to them. Some combat signatures do not have a DED difficulty rating, and instead have a chance of escalating to a short story-based expedition. The Gurista Vigil is a combat signature found in all systems with a security status of 0.8 and lower throughout Caldari space. This site has a decent potential for either a faction spawn or an escalation, either of which may lead to high-value loot drops. Only up to battlecruiser-class ships will be allowed into the site. As soon as you land on the acceleration gate, an opening message will appear. Previous explorers have commented that one of the gates requires a passkey. Alternatively, it can be bypassed by convincing the commander to unlock it. You must activate the gate to enter the first room of the site. In the first room, you'll conveniently land on top of the acceleration gate to the next room. There are 6 separate groups of Guristas NPCs scattered amongst the various structures. Off to your left, the first group consists of up to 3 frigates and a battlecruiser. And to your right, the second group also consists of up to 3 frigates and a battlecruiser. A ways behind you, the third group has another frigate and up to 2 battlecruisers. And a ways above, the fourth group consists of 2 cruisers. Way off to the right, near a coral rock formation, the fifth group has up to 2 destroyers, and the sixth up to 2 cruisers. You can actually ignore all the initial enemy NPCs and instead approach the smuggler gate that's just above your landing position to spawn a battleship named the Port Authority Officer. Destroying the Port Authority Officer unlocks the acceleration gate to the next room. You can avoid the fight with the battleship if you have the passkey mentioned in the opening message, which turns out to be a Gurista's gold tag. If you have a gold tag in your cargo hold, you can simply activate the gate to the second room as soon as you land. The tag will be consumed. In the second room, you'll land in front of a giant snake-shaped asteroid, just above another acceleration gate to the third room. You're flanked on the left and right by stasis towers that will hold you in place shortly after landing. There are 2 initial groups of Gurista's NPCs, each guarding a Gurista's control center and a series of power facilities. The group on the left consists of 2 destroyers and a cruiser. The group on the right consists of 3 frigates and 4 battlecruisers. A new group of Gurista's NPCs will spawn on a timer, roughly 4 minutes after landing in the room. This group consists of 2 destroyers and 3 cruisers. Another new group of Gurista's NPCs will spawn on another timer, about 8 minutes after landing in the room. This group consists of 2 advanced frigates, 2 destroyers, and 3 battlecruisers. And a final timer of 10 minutes will spawn the commander wave, consisting of 4 cruisers. Among them will be a Dread Guristas NPC, who will always drop a Dread Guristas brass tag, and either 1,000 rounds of Gurista's heavy missiles, or a Dread Guristas medium charge ammunition. If you're lucky, it may also drop a Dread Guristas module, a crystal or Hydra implant, or a single-run blueprint copy for a Gila. Destroying the Dread Guristas NPC has a chance of triggering the escalation to the Kidnapped expedition. Alternatively, you can bypass the 10-minute wait by clearing the initial defenders quickly and taking the gate to the third room. This also has a chance of triggering the expedition, though taking this path may mean missing out on the potential loot drops. The third room is completely empty, only providing you with a chance for the escalation. If you're lucky enough to trigger the Kidnapped expedition, a message will appear. As you enter the room, you receive a weak transmission. A hushed voice sneaks through your audio system, hastily whispering some words. All you can understand is something about kidnapping, pirates, and a group of people. You play it back several times, trying to make sense of it, but you cannot discern who is kidnapped or how this group of people is involved. And you can't actually hear what part the Guristas play in this, even though you take it for granted that they are the kidnappers in question. This message was sent on a general channel, and your instruments have no problem pinpointing its origin. They have actually done so already in case you would like to investigate this further. can't beat these new auto-personalizing AI systems. You have only had this one for a few days, and it already feels like it has known you all your life. In the first encounter of the expedition, you'll land in a cloudy area between a solar harvester and a snake-shaped asteroid. Initially, the area will be empty of NPCs, but you'll see a message appear in your local chat. About 20 seconds after landing, a group of Guristas NPCs consisting of 2 frigates and 3 destroyers will appear directly behind you. As soon as you engage with this first group, a second group will spawn consisting of 3 advanced frigates and 4 battlecruisers. Engaging the second group will spawn yet another group near an astrofarm, consisting of 3 frigates and 4 cruisers. Among them will be a Dread Guristas NPC in a cruiser. Destroying the Dread Guristas NPC has a chance of escalating to the second encounter of the kidnapped expedition. While investigating the wreck, you suddenly receive the same transmission as before, but this time in much better quality. Soon you discover that this is actually a message recorded on some children's toy that utilizes small shiny plastic discs as a storage medium. This message must have been running for some time, as the transmitter has almost run out of power. After playing the message again and analyzing it in depth, you can now hear that the speaker is describing an attack, and that she, along with a group of people, have been kidnapped by a locally known Gurista bandit. She manages to whisper a series of coordinates that you can only assume will lead to her location. In the second encounter of the expedition, you'll again land in a clouded area among a number of structures. About 30 seconds after landing, a group of Guristas NPCs will appear, consisting of 4 destroyers and 3 battlecruisers. Among them will be a Dread Guristas NPC flying a cruiser. Engaging with this first group will spawn a second group, consisting of 3 advanced frigates and 3 destroyers. If you fly close enough to the large wreck object, a third group will spawn, consisting of another 3 advanced frigates and 3 cruisers. Destroying the Dread Guristas NPC has a chance of escalating to the third encounter of the kidnapped expedition. You find no signs of any hostages, and you're pretty sure that if they had been in the bunker, you would have noticed some body parts being thrown around when you blew it up. You notice that all the ships in the buildings are marked with some sort of a logo, depicting a triangle with glowing corners in different colors and everything encircled with a band of 1s and 0s. You have never seen exactly this one before, but it reminds you of badges of some of the more pretentious pirate chiefs you have met have used to bolster their image. After your main computer has had a few seconds to munch on this graphic, it suggests that this symbolizes 3 locations, one which you are at now, and 2 others. The 1s and 0s seem to be the coordinates to all 3 locations in binary. The only problem is that there is no indication where on the circle to start reading. But it seems like your instruments have found some reason to make an educated guess and come up with 2 unexplored locations, the nearer one of the 2 being. In the third encounter of the expedition, you'll land beside a habitation drug house and a series of Gurista outposts. These structures are guarded by a group of Guristas NPCs consisting of 3 frigates and 4 cruisers. Among them is a Dread Guristas NPC flying a cruiser. Approaching the structures will spawn a second group, consisting of 4 destroyers and 4 battlecruisers. Destroying the Dread Guristas NPC has a chance of escalating to the 4th and final encounter of the kidnapped expedition. Another puny little station, and now you are absolutely sure there were not hostages or anyone else for that matter inside the bunker when it blew. They must be in the other station. In the final encounter of the kidnapped expedition, you'll land next to a large station guarded by a group of Guristas NPCs. This group consists of 3 advanced frigates and 4 destroyers. The station is surrounded by a series of heavy missile batteries. Attacking the station will spawn a new group of Guristas NPCs, consisting of 3 advanced frigates and 4 battlecruisers. Damaging the station's shields to below half will spawn yet another group, consisting of another 2 advanced frigates and 3 destroyers. After a whole lot of shooting, taking the station down to about a quarter of its structure will spawn the Gurista Special Acquirement Captain flying a battlecruiser. Destroying the captain will prompt the closing message of the expedition. If ending the hostage's plight was the objective, this definitely was a case of mission accomplished, and as the people who would most energetically refute that statement are eternally indisposed, you have little problems feeling good about yourself. I think I would rather have had the option of actually saving them, but sure, why not? The captain has a chance of dropping one or more Dread Guristas modules, or a blueprint copy for a worm. You'll have to decide for yourself whether it's worth risking travel through low-security space to run the final encounter. Other players will have to use combat probes to find you, but you won't be behind an acceleration gate. You'll have to keep a close eye on your directional scanner and try to avoid being hit by the webifiers or warp disruptors of the elite frigates. A ship like the Ishkur, fit with railguns, is capable of running the site in about 11 minutes. Bypassing the first room with the Gurista's gold tag can cut this down by about a minute. A ship with higher DPS can cut this down further, but it means potentially missing loot from the Dread Guristas NPC. Tactical destroyers, faction cruisers, or heavy assault cruisers are all likely better suited for this site, and are certainly much better suited for the escalation. In my limited playthroughs, I became partial to the Demos, as it's capable of running all the encounters quite comfortably. While recording the footage for this video series, I kept track of the statistics for 10 Gurista Vigil sites. Over this period, all 10 spawned a Dread Guristas pirate, and 2 escalated to the kidnapped expedition. Of the 10 Guristas NPCs that spawn in the Gurista Vigil site itself, 6 dropped something beyond the faction ammo and tag. The kidnapped expedition can escalate up to 4 times, and every encounter seems to be guaranteed to spawn a Dread Guristas pirate. Through my 2 escalations, I had a total of 5 encounters, 2 of which dropped something beyond the faction ammo and tag. There were plenty of implants, or implant blueprint copies. And the one escalation that went through to the finale dropped a blueprint copy for a worm. Stay tuned to Riley Entertainment for more EVE Online combat site guides. In high-security Caldari space, you can also probe down other unrated sites like the Gurista Hideout, Lookout, or Watch. Other NPC pirates include Rogue Drones, the Serpentis, Angel Cartel, Blood Raiders, and Sancha's Nation. Throughout 2020, I completed my guide for the high-security Serpentis combat sites. If you find yourself in Glent space, you can check out those videos right now. You can find all of my EVE Online content in the gaming section of my website over at RileyEntertainment.com. This includes sections that I'll be expanding upon in the coming months for high-security combat sites, and the Cosmos missions and sites.